Just before we get into this video, guys, a quick little bit of housekeeping. The film and TV industry is something I've wanted to break into for years now. I studied for university, getting myself a BA and MA in the subject. Sadly though, trying to find work has been next to impossible, which is why I created this, my website. It's been up for a few years now, and the idea is to try and find more work within the film and TV industry. On it you can find my portfolio, as well as my showreel and much more. All I need from you guys is to share it around as much as possible, but only if you enjoy the videos. The more you share, the more videos I'll make for this channel. You don't have to be a regular viewer here, and you don't even need to subscribe, just share the website around and I'll be happy. Now, on with the video. Hello everybody and welcome back to an episode of My Isolation Podcast, one of the greatest media-related podcasts you've definitely never heard of until right now. My name is Connor, thank you so much for tuning in and making this podcast part of your day, whether it's your morning, your afternoon, or evening, or even if it's something you just want to fall asleep to. And if you're feeling isolated and lonely out there, I really hope this podcast helps brighten your day. And with that being said, let's just jump into it, because today, the Switch 2 is 1 year old, and let's talk about it. Even though it turned 1 year in June, and this ain't coming out till August, but better late than never, I suppose. But yeah, the Switch 2 is 1 year older. It's crazy to think of it, because that year is gone from the Switch 2 coming out and releasing. But I couldn't do this podcast alone. I had to get a friend with me. So I decided to get somebody who has been on this podcast before. He was here during the very, very, very first iteration back in 2020, talking about James Bond. And now he's back again. It's Christian Hughes, everybody. Way! Way! Yay!
Thank you for having me, Connor. A pleasure to be back. I can't believe our first episode was back in 2020.
Yeah.
Feels like forever ago. But no, happy to be back and talking about the Switch 2, which is a console I recently actually picked up.
I mean, you say picked up, more given to you for free. Given to you for free, if that's correct.
Yeah, that's correct. I did get it very thanks to my workplace. They are very, very kind, and I was lucky enough to get a Switch 2 from work. So huge perk there. Love that.
Yeah. We're also going to talk about James Bond a little bit as well, so that'll be later on. That'll be far down the list, because obviously First Light was supposed to come out for the Switch 2 around the other versions, and that didn't happen.
Yeah,
so
excited to talk about First
yeah,
Light as well. Amazing game. Like, I have so much to say about that game.
we'll talk about that later on. But right now, let's just talk about our history with with Nintendo itself, the first Switch. Obviously, I think people who've listened to this podcast know my own history with it. You know, I've been a Nintendo fan since like 4 years old with the N64. The first Switch is a console I really, really love, especially when it came out at a time when my love for Nintendo was diminishing. The Wii U was absolute garbage. It's got a bit of a cult following now, but I still hate the Wii U. The worst Nintendo console I ever brought. My biggest regret. Not my biggest regret of all time, but definitely in terms of buying stuff, that's my biggest regret. Is the fucking Wii U. So the first Switch came at a really good time, and yeah, I really enjoyed the first Switch. What about you? How would you like the first Switch? And what's your history with Nintendo? Sorry.
My history with Nintendo, I got my first console, which was the Game Boy Advance. I played a lot of Pokemon, Mario, Spyro, Scooby Doo. I mean, you name it. Since then, I pretty much had every handheld, but I never had any of the home systems. So I had the DS, 3DS, 3DS XL, Switch, Switch Lite, Switch OLED, and now Switch 2. So yeah, definitely experience with handhelds. I'm a big Nintendo fan. Like I say, Pokemon especially for me, Legend of Zelda, sort of these Nintendo staples. And I think the thing that drew me to the Switch, and as we'll talk more later, I'm sure the Switch 2 is those sort of specific titles, really.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, I think what I do think is so great about the Switch as a general console is that it's kind of it was kind of everyone's big dream to have a console where you could play these big, huge 3D like home console games, but on the go, like anywhere you wanted to at any time.
Yeah.
And it was like we were slowly getting there. But it's kind of like, when you bought like the GBA version of a home console game, and it's absolutely nothing like the home console version because it's on a much weaker, powerful, like a much weaker handheld. And in many ways, I feel like the Wii U was kind of the prototype for what the Switch ended up becoming. That's definitely
Yeah,
what it feels like now.
I feel like you're right with the Wii U for me. I played a little bit of. I really didn't enjoy. I loved the Wii. The Wii U for me just wasn't it. But I do feel Nintendo probably wouldn't have released the Switch unless they had the Wii U before, because that idea of having like a tablet in your hand, it was sort of a similar layout as well with the way that you hold it, and it had the Joy
Mm.
Cons and things, and the fact that you could play on the big screen or the small screen. I think that really opened the door to the Switch and the Switch 2. And I think, yeah, without the Wii U, we probably wouldn't have this console today.
Yeah, so I think we can thank the Wii U for that. You know, you gave birth to a much better console, so thank you, Wii U. He's still a piece of shit though, still a massive piece of shit. You know, terrible console. Um, but no, yeah, I mean, the first Switch, you know, I've got a lot of great memories. I got so much support as well, particularly from third parties. Like people absolutely wanted their games on the Switch, regardless of how underpowered it was compared to like the PS4, the Xbox One, because obviously those are the consoles, those were its competition at the time. And then when those died off, and you got the PS5 and the Xbox Series S and Series X, we were still getting like, you know, Switch One versions of those games, but just slightly crappier. That makes, well, slightly less powered. If that makes sense, because obviously you're dealing with much weaker hardware and weaker architecture compared to a PS5 and Xbox Series S and Series X.
Yeah.
Because obviously, not only is it a tablet, you've also got to remember it's a handheld console hybrid. So you've got two different modifications you have to work around. But people, I think people, third party developers, unlike the Wii U, and even to the extent the original Wii, um, saw the potential, like they saw the benefit of having your game on that system. I think.
Yeah, I think that a big part of that as well just came from the sales, right?
Hmm.
So I've Googled it earlier, and I
Yeah.
think the Switch 2 now and the Switch, well, the original Switch reached like 156 million units sold.
Uh.
And that's the second best-selling video game console in
Hmm.
history, which trails only the PlayStation 2, which is obviously absolutely iconic.
Hmm.
So I think when you have that much backing behind the console, developers really want to get their games on there as well, and they're more
Hmm.
incentivized to kind of rework the games even if needed. Things like Cyberpunk and Red Dead and
Hmm.
some of these more demanding titles, they're happy to sort of go back to the lab, change the graphic settings if needed, change the controls up, invest a little bit of time and money because actually they feel that their investment is also going to pay off. Um, yeah, a huge amount of titles shipped for the Switch. So yeah,
And now, obviously, we had the Switch 2. It got announced. Well, the Switch 2 was rumored for years. I remember, I think originally it was rumored actually back in maybe 2019 when people thought it was going to be a Switch Pro. And then we ended up getting the OLED model instead. But the Switch 2 was like rumored for a while. And then 2024, the rumors really started to like perk up. Actual like display models that companies were being sent for like cases and stuff like that, like 3D printed models. They were being leaked around, and the more stuff was being leaked about it. How it was, well, essentially was just the Switch again, but better in a lot of ways. The screen's bigger. The Joy Cons are magnetic now compared to on the rails. It's got a bigger
yeah.
kickstand. But what were your thoughts when the Switch 2 was originally announced? Because I remember them not being very faithful. If that
Yeah,
makes
I mean, I think it's a really interesting one. And going back to stats, I think the stats show this too. So the Switch 2 is the fastest selling Nintendo console of all time. But if we remember that the Switch 1 sold, I mean, it's had a much longer period to sell, obviously, but the Switch 1 has sold in total about 160 million. The
mm,
Switch 2 has only sold 20 million units as of like March this year. I think the reason for that is it's a really hyped console. It's the Switch, but better, like you say. But turning to my experience, like the reason I didn't want to pick up a Switch 2 at first was just there wasn't enough games on it. I mean, people go to Nintendo for the Pokemon titles, the Mario 3D titles, the
mm,
Zelda titles. And when the Switch 2 came out, we had Mario
mm,
Kart Deluxe, and really, in my opinion, that was the only game I wanted to play. And even though I loved the Switch, and even though I knew I loved that game, I played a lot of that game. I played a lot of it with you. It's brilliant. I didn't want to spend sort of 400 quid or so, 380 quid, whatever they're asking for in the UK, just to play one game. And
mm.
that really made me hesitant, right? It means I didn't buy the Switch 2 for quite a long time. I think, yeah, on launch for me, that made me quite hesitant. Obviously now the picture's changing. There's a lot more games coming out. I think we're going to touch on this later, and that really made me eventually want to buy it and to kind of be able to play those new games.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's tons of games now. I mean, obviously, the first Switch had a crap ton of games. Primarily because I think for people, it was easier for like particularly indie developers to like get their games on the Switch to like the eShop and everything like that. Um, but also like again, like people, it's a really successful console. People are seeing that we can benefit a lot from having our games on this system. It's compared to the original Switch, it is a lot more powerful than the original Switch. Obviously it's not on the same level as say a PS5. I'd probably argue you're looking at just about maybe an Xbox Series S rather than a Series X, or just about below that. But even then, like you can talk about consoles being powerful today, and if that really even still matters these days. I know Shigeru Miyamoto said that he believes people are choosing choosing games over specs now. And I think he's got a point. To be fair, um, but yeah, I mean, obviously, you weren't like keen about the Switch 2, and then you finally got one. So like, obviously, I think you've only had yours for like a little while. But what do you love the most about your Switch 2 so far? Like, what?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, so much. So I've had all the iterations of the Switch Lite, and the OLED. I think the OLED display for me still popped a little bit more, and I
Mm,
did like the OLED display more. But otherwise, the Switch 2 is an upgrade in every way. It's more power, it's a bigger screen, it's comfier Joy-Cons, it's a better kickstand, it's a longer
yeah.
battery life. Like the list goes on. And I think the Switch 2 does just feel like all the good points about the Switch with those little upgrades.
Mm,
Um, I think it looks more like a 2026 gaming console as well. The Switch, it was very Nintendo with the red and the blue Joy Cons,
mm,
but it also felt like maybe a little bit more of like a family friendly, or dare I say, like I'm going to annoy a lot of people with this, but like more of a kids console in the way that it looked, not in the
yeah.
titles, not in the way it played, but in the way it looked. Whereas the Switch 2, it does look more like an adult console. It looks more like the Steam Deck and more
Mm,
of these things that look sleeker. I love the black design, and it's still got those little quirks that make it Nintendo, the red and the blue. Like, but
mm,
it's done more subtly now. It's a smaller highlight. I think it looks better. I think it plays better.
mm,
And it's just like you say, it's a massively upgraded Switch. So
yeah.
lots of pros in terms of hardware.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like again, I feel like the it is a much better it's just a much better experience. I think it's more comfier to hold in handheld mode. I love the fact you've got a much bigger screen. Um I like the fact that the games definitely run a lot better now on the Switch. I mean, there is some frame rate drops with some games, some Chugosaurus Rex, let's say, with some games. But to be fair, I mean, I just love it. Like again, like you said, the Joy Cons are fucking fantastic. Like the fact that they're like magnetic now,
Yeah.
rather than the fact that you have to like awkwardly slide them up and down. Like you literally just like push the button and just remove them, and then just snap them back into place. And that clicking sound when it snaps back into place, it's just like
Yeah. Very
it's like
satisfying.
it's every time you do it, even when you snap them into the Joy-Con grip, because that one's my neck now as well. It's just a lot more satisfying. It's like, oh yes, let's go.
Yeah.
ASMR people are gonna absolutely love that sound effect. I think. They're going to get a very good benefit out of it. But yeah, like I said, the kickstand's better. I've not tried mouse mode yet with the Joy Cons. I can't lie. Like, but that's just mainly because I
Yeah.
haven't got any games that I'm really that interested in. Like, I know that there's a lot of games that support it. Like, I got the Mario Galaxy re-releases, the one that came with Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, and that apparently supports the mouse mode. But I'm not really into trying it. I mean, hopefully, I can get there's probably some more games out there that can like encourage me and other players to actually like utilize it a bit more. Like maybe you
It's
could, I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's a funny one to me because Nintendo have always had these like web browser extensions, right? Or there's always been a
Hmm,
way normally to access the web on their devices. I don't think the Switch 2 has that yet. I might be wrong there, but I don't think it does. And actually, the
hmm,
Switch 2 to me seems like the best console for that because of this mouse mode. I think realistically, a developer is going to be putting mouse mode into their games. Probably not for the most part. There might be some shooters where it works really well because it's nicer to have that more mouse like feeling if you're playing an FPS game.
hmm,
That could be cool. But I'm surprised that they don't yet have some sort of like internet extension where you can just put your Switch down, use your mouse, and just surf the web. I mean, the Switch is powerful enough to do most like web surfing activities,
hmm.
streaming,
Yeah.
basic emails, whatever. probably even some light editing. Like if you
Mm.
wanted to do some video editing, dare I say, maybe not for like full 4K or HD video editing, but you can probably do quite a lot on it because it's much more powerful. And it just surprises me that they haven't built like an internet extension yet to make the most of that mouse feature because
Mm.
I think it would work.
Yeah, I think the only big internet thing they've got is YouTube, and even then, I'm pretty sure that app didn't work for like the first couple of months of after the console's release. But I think it works now. I've not really tried it because if I know I can always use my phone and my laptop for YouTube really.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, there's definitely some like other things they could use the mouse mode for. Like you said, there's a lot of like interactive things they could do with it. And again, maybe they could do that somewhere down the line. I mean, this is the same company that it took them four fucking years to add
Bluetooth.
fucking Bluetooth on this first Switch, which is just
Yeah.
like it's a fucking tablet,
It
or or
has
or
Bluetooth
even like voice
capability
chat.
built in. That's the crazy thing. Like the Switch has a Bluetooth receiver
Hmm,
built into it, and Bluetooth support was not added for 4 years. And I don't know if it was 4 years, but it was for a long time, right?
hmm,
And you used to have to buy like an extension dongle that plugged into the USB-C to connect a Bluetooth headset. And
jeez,
all it was they just needed to do a software update, right? The hardware was
yeah,
built in, and they just yeah. I don't understand that one to this day. Like
hmm,
that took way too long. But if Nintendo are the same with this, maybe we'll get an internet browser in three
yeah.
years time.
Yeah. Or even fucking voice chat. Do you remember how voice chat was on the original Switch where you had to use a
Yeah,
fucking app on your phone? Your console is
yeah.
literally a tablet. Why is it not integrated into the system? Like
And
it is.
again, it's a
Yeah.
tablet with a mic and
Yeah.
with headset ability.
Yeah.
So like, why can we not just plug and play?
Yeah.
Like,
No, yeah, and like, but I mean, I know that there's voice chat now for the Switch too, like it's implemented onto the system. Although you have to pay like Nintendo Switch Online membership to use it. I think it was
yeah,
free for like the first year, which is fine. Like I'm already paying for the expansion pack membership just so I can get GameCube games on there, which I'm
yeah,
absolutely loving. By the way, I love the fact that GameCube games are finally getting out on the Switch too. Though I'm not really appreciating the drip feeding there. It's really annoying. But
I get
that
it.
aside, yeah.
I think as well with that, like talking about like online play, I love online games. I play mainly on PC for online, a lot of Dota, Counter-Strike, Valorant, etc. I love esports titles. I
Hmm,
think for me, what stopped me buying the online so far as well is just not enough software. There is
hmm,
some online voice chat availability. I think you can do it in Mario Kart, and I think you can maybe do it in like Splatoon, possibly Smash Bros. I don't know.
hmm.
Um,
I mean,
but
the way,
aside from
yeah,
those, I don't think there's that much you can like actually like go online, play against two, five, 10 other players, and voice chat. I think Overwatch as well actually might have support for that, but
yeah.
there's not a lot.
Well, I think the way, well, I think the way it's used is that you can just play a game and like talk to your friends, but you can pretty much do like anything. Like you don't have to be on the same game. You can just be on a different game.
Okay,
uh,
yeah.
and can be split. And there's also video chat as well, which first of all you need to buy the fucking webcam for. Which I've been tempted to buy just because it reminds me a lot of a like an accessory from the early 2000s. So there's a little bit of that nostalgia there for it. But at the same time, I'm just kind of like I don't really want to waste money on a webcam that I'm probably
Yeah,
going to use.
and that's an
Uh,
annoying one, right? Because the Switch dock has a USB. So this
yeah.
is another one of those things. Like I get it, Nintendo want to sell their own hardware,
Hmm.
but you should just be able to plug an existing webcam into the USB in the Switch dock
Yeah.
and play with it, right?
I
Because
th-
again, like
hmm.
people are going to have webcams lying around. I've actually got two, and yeah, I'd love the Switch webcam, but do I want to spend 40 quid on a webcam that's probably like lower quality than my existing ones
Hmm.
just to be able to see your pretty face when I'm playing Mario Kart? Like,
But no, have you seen Shrek? Have you watched Shrek?
mate, I mean, you're the one saying it, not me.
Well, no, like the opening of Shrek when he's brushing his teeth and then he closes the basin door and then the mirror cracks in multiple pieces. That happens to me every day, mate. That's how ugly I am. You know what I mean? I gotta get replaced like all the fucking time. You know what I mean? Like it's
Bro.
just like yeah. So like if anything, seeing my ugly mug, not seeing my ugly mug on the Switch 2 would actually be very beneficial. I think
Well, there
actually,
you go.
yeah,
40 quid saved. I'll take
yeah, exactly.
it.
Um, but yeah, no, the but no, yeah, the webcam and stuff like that. Like again, tempted to buy it, but I don't really want to waste money on it if that makes sense. especially when again I'm not really going to use it, and also the quality of the video feed doesn't really look that great. Like even when they like did that big huge direct back in April of 2025 to show off the consoles looking really choppy, like very choppy, like very
Okay, yeah,
Chuckosaurus, like very Chuckosaurus Rex. We don't really want to be putting up with that shit. Like that just it looks horrible.
yeah. It's not something I'll be buying now. I mean, if they bring out, to be honest, I don't know if I want to see people's faces when I'm gaming anyway. Like, if they bring out a good headset that just works well, I might consider buying that. Do I need a webcam? Probably not. Like,
Hmm.
I don't think it's going to add that much to my gaming experience.
No, probably not. Probably not. Probably not. Um, I will say though, I really hope that with the mouse mode, we kind of get more like point and click titles. Like maybe if we're lucky enough to get some old like Telltale games remastered for the Switch, back in the
Yeah,
day, and
yeah.
then we can like just like put the Switch on the table, get your little mouse mode on, and do that stuff. Because the Wii had a lot of
Dude,
point and click games on it, didn't it?
and you know what I think it would work insanely well with, and this is a game I've wanted for a long time. On the 3DS, I had Kid Icarus Uprising.
Oh yeah,
It had like it wasn't really a gimmick, but it had that stand that came with it, and you played a lot of it with the stylus as well as like
yeah,
the controls.
yeah.
That would work so well on the Switch too with mouse mode.
Hmm.
Like you don't need the separate stand because the Switch has a kickstand,
Yeah.
and they could easily bake in the mouse mode mechanics to that. And again, it's not really a gimmick; it's just something that would work well.
Hmm.
That would be an amazing title. I think a lot
Yeah.
of people would like flock to that game. Kid Icarus Uprising was, I mean, that game introduced me to Kid Icarus and to Pit and that amazing game. The online mode was fantastic. I put so many hours into that.
Hmm.
And if they had voice chat and yeah, maybe even video would work for that
Hmm.
with mouse support, bro,
Yeah.
that would be an absolute game.
No, yeah, definitely. That'd be a great game actually. Yeah, I don't know why I've not remastered it, but again, that could also work well if they wanted to bring if they're trying to bring DS games over to the Switch online service,
Yep.
as well. I know that there's like rumors that they're going to do a peripheral where it's an extra screen. It like slides, it clips to the top of the Switch too, and it folds in and out like original DS, which would be would be cool, but I mean, it'd be quite kind of dodgy. I feel like if I'm playing in like a cafe or something, I'd be quite worried that the top screen would just fall off and smash. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe.
God, yeah. Um, but no, yeah, I do love the Switch too. The mechanics, the hardware, and also obviously the games. You know what I mean? Like the fact that, like you said, when it first came out, there wasn't that many games, but now like suddenly it's like second year in, or suddenly everyone's got games coming for this thing.
Suddenly there's support. I think they pushed to release the Switch 2 and possibly
Hmm.
I don't know if released too early, but definitely released it with not enough
Yeah,
Nintendo like titles. Donkey Kong's meant to be amazing. Mario
yeah.
Kart is obviously amazing, but we don't have a Mario 3D World or like 3D title.
Hmm.
We didn't have a Legend of Zelda. Obviously now they're redoing Ocarina of Time. That will be
Oh,
fantastic.
yeah,
Um, and we didn't have like a new Smash. We just
yeah.
had existing support for the old Smash. We didn't have a new Pokemon. We didn't have a new Animal Crossing. Like a lot of these games, they've upgraded to Switch 2 versions, which is
Hmm.
cool in a way. Sometimes you get extra features, but yeah, the titles are now coming in, and also the third party titles, like you say, First Light will be coming. Um, so it's definitely got much more software now,
Hmm.
and that hopefully will draw more people to it.
No, yeah, definitely. And I feel like like you said, there's definitely more titles coming now, and there's definitely a lot more like exclusives as well. Obviously, yeah, we don't have a new 3D Mario yet. We'll talk more about that later on. Um, but yeah, but no, there's tons of games out for it now, and obviously third party support is gearing up massively for the Switch 2 now, which I think is really grand. Obviously, the Switch 2 is not as powerful as the other consoles, like as an Xbox or a PS5. But I've think about this a lot more. Does it really? I don't think it really does. It really need to be powerful? Do you know what I mean? Like, do we actually need it to be mega
Yeah,
powerful?
it's got enough power now. Nintendo, like you alluded to this earlier, Nintendo's always been slightly underpowered
Mm,
compared to the other consoles, right?
yeah,
I think the 3DS, or the Switch, the original Switch had like 2 gig of RAM maybe,
yeah,
and I don't know about the DS, but they were always underpowered. But yeah, they don't need it. Like Mario Kart, Mario 3D,
mm,
the way that they do the graphics for Zelda, maybe Breath of the Wild is a bit of an exception, but you don't need these like insane graphics cards and huge loads of like RAM and memory. And
yeah.
actually, the Switch 2, I think now it has its own graphics card. I think it's an Nvidia one even,
Mm.
and it has I think 8 gig of RAM. So it's definitely there. Um, yeah, I think it's got enough power. I've just googled it. Switch 2 has 12 gig of RAM.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah, yeah.
it's actually quite powerful. I mean, my PC only has 16 gig, and
Mm.
I run like GTA 5 and Red Dead 2 and First Light on that. So
Yeah.
it's pretty good.
No, yeah, I mean, but yeah, I feel like consoles nowadays are a little bit too overpowered, if that makes sense as well. Like I feel like we've kind of pushed consoles to the limit of like how powerful they can be. And I think it goes back to what Miyamoto was saying a couple of weeks ago, where he even said that he feels like gamers are picking games over specs now any day, over specs, and they don't really care
Yeah,
about power anymore. And I think like I do think that's kind of true. I think we've definitely
yeah.
kind of we're over. I think the consoles are massively overpowered. I think people are getting kind of over consoles being like multimedia machines as well. Like you get consoles that can play, can do streaming services, play DVDs, CDs. But nowadays, I mean, you've got so many other options to do those things that I think games.
And if you think about like a lot of the big hits, even outside of Nintendo titles, like currently and going back in time, things like Mecha Chameleon,
Mm,
Balatro, Fortnite, even right, Fall Guys. Like there are lots of these games that go really viral now.
mm.
They're much cheaper. They're not like 60 quid titles. Maybe you can pick them up for like 10, 15, 20 pounds. And people love them because they've just got like, they're just great games and they don't need a lot of power. You can play it on anything, right?
Yeah. No, yeah, definitely. Like you can literally, yeah, like you said, you can literally play on anything. I think that's why a lot of older games are getting remastered now because you don't actually have to put in that much work. You just kind of upscale the graphics, and that's it. And that's literally it,
Yeah.
really.
I
Um,
mean, I don't like the way that they charge full price for some of
oh
these
god, yeah.
remasters,
Like the
but
like
if they put a lot of work into it, if it's a full remaster, like this new Ocarina of Time,
yeah,
they're basically rebuilding from the ground up.
yeah.
I will 100% buy that for full
Oh
price.
yeah, definitely.
If it's just something they're like re-releasing on the Switch and they're
Yeah,
charging you full price, things like Skyward Sword, I think
yeah,
they pretty much just upscaled the graphics a bit. Like,
mm,
I don't know. That upsets me a bit more. I don't think that should
yeah.
have the same price tag that it did like 10, 15 years ago.
No, yeah. They all they really did with Skyward Sword was they upscaled it. They gave it button controls for the Switch 2 Pro controller in case you didn't want to use the Joy Cons.
Yeah.
And I think there
And
was
Skyward Sword was released in 2011.
yeah,
So this is like a 15-year-old game that
yeah.
they then charged, I think, £50 or £60 for.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it was like 40 quid
Yeah.
when it
Okay.
came out. Because obviously I mean, it was $60 in America, which would have been, I think, like 40 quid in the UK. I think.
Yeah.
If like, I mean, I'm not a mathematician, so I've got no clue if that's actually.
No. Yeah.
Yeah,
But I mean, it's a great game. Skyward
yeah,
Sword was an amazing game,
mm,
but is it
yeah.
worth 40 quid like again? No.
Oh god, no.
So
And when it came out, it was like the 10-year anniversary of that game, so it's kind of like you're charging us full price for a 10-year-old Wii game, essentially.
yeah.
Like the amount of memes I made of that, that I sent to you about that, like, oh, this is just a port of a 10-year-old Wii game.
I remember.
Literally, like,
Yeah.
I was so pissed off. I was like, why are you like, where's Wind Waker HD? Where's Twilight Princess HD from the Wii U days? Why hasn't that been ported over yet? Like, where are those? Where's Wind Waker HD? Where's Twilight Princess HD? Like, yeah, Wind Waker's on bloody GameCube Online system. Cool. I want to play HD version now, though. Come on.
Or if they like released it as a pack, it
Yeah,
might feel a little bit more worth the money. Like the Mario All Stars that came out because you're getting three great
yeah.
titles. Sunshine. What was it? Sunshine
It was
64.
64 Sunshine and Galaxy.
Yeah, okay. And that feels more worth it to me. If they
Mm,
did something similar with Zelda, like Skyward
yeah,
Sword, Twilight Princess,
yeah,
Ocarina of Time, and they were just like upscaled or just HD,
mm,
yeah, then I probably would. But I think paying
yeah.
close to full price for one HD remaster probably isn't worth it, in my opinion.
Mm. Oh, man, I wish I brought two copies of 3D All Stars. Like, one for me, and
Dude,
then
that game is worth so much
yeah.
now as well.
Sealed copies of that game are worth like so much now. I wish I brought two. If when GTA 6 comes out, I'm gonna get two copies. And if there is a disc version of that game, I'm getting two copies. One for me, and then I'm buying a second one. Gonna leave it all wrapped in like in foil and stuff, and then just hide in a fucking envelope somewhere, and then
Dude,
like sell it on
like
eBay.
3D All Stars sealed on eBay,
Mm.
there are some listings now going for £2,000 sealed.
Fuck
2,000. Like that, I don't know
yeah.
if they're selling at that price, but that is insane.
Why didn't I buy two copies? Why?
Yeah.
Well, I could have done it. I had the money for two. Believe it or not, I was in a better financial position then than I was now.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Save me so much hassle. God
Mate,
damn
why
it.
didn't I save my like first edition Charizard that I had when I was a kid? Like,
Yeah,
these things we look back on.
Jesus. No,
Yeah.
when GTA 6, if GTA 6 ever gets a disc version, I'm gonna like get 2 copies of that. I'm keeping one for me, and I'm just gonna leave one like
Yeah,
wrapped
I
up and
think I
stuff.
think the thing is as well though, like with All Stars, they produced it in such a limited run,
Mm,
and I think that's why it's worth so much. I think GTA, like we'll turn to that later, that is going to fly off shelves. They're probably going to sell.
yeah,
I don't know how many they're going to sell, but hundreds of millions, right,
yeah.
of copies maybe.
Well, I mean,
Like,
I'm not too sure because the physical copy of that is just a fucking code. Well, when it comes out, I think when it comes out, all physical copies are going to be just like a code on a piece of paper.
yeah,
But
yeah.
then I think around
But like
December.
GTA 5 sold over like 200
Mm,
million. So like, I mean, obviously GTA 5 is like an absolute classic now.
yeah,
Like everyone's played that game, but yeah, I think if they can come close to that, which
mm,
I mean, it looks like they could. They spent I think over like 1 billion developing GTA 6, right?
yeah, yeah. I
It's
think they did.
insane.
Yeah, it's insane how expensive it got. Um, but I mean, sticking with like GTA, I mean, all this kind of because recently Nintendo's gotten so much goodwill from people. Obviously, with all the controversies that Microsoft and Sony are kind of surrounding themselves with now. Obviously, Microsoft laying off like hundreds of employees,
Yeah.
Sony deciding no longer to do discs. It's so as a Nintendo as one of the biggest Nintendogs in the world. It's so bizarre seeing all this kind of goodwill being aimed at Nintendo when in the past, it was always kind of the opposite way around. Nintendo was always the
Yeah.
easiest one to hate, and Nintendo aren't exactly like innocent. They've been doing like the game keycard situation, which, to be fair, compared to Sony's no disc rule, is kind of like a more of a fair compromise. No, I guess. Um,
Yeah, the key card's a funny one because they're giving you a game that I don't know. They could probably load some of these titles just onto the game
mm,
onto the game card, right?
yeah,
Because they're not that many gigabytes,
yeah,
but they give you a key card to like I think to lock it to your own console, just so you can't
mm.
share it with other people and
No,
stuff. Basically, you've
no, no,
got control.
no. That's so basically with the game key cards. What you're doing is that you put the cartridge into the console, and then you need the internet to download the game
It then
once, and then
downloads the game.
it's giving you
Exactly. Yeah,
like
that makes sense.
a license to play the game rather than having the full game on the cartridge.
Yeah, but then
Um,
if I gave you my game key card,
it will still work.
would it?
Like you can
Okay.
actually you can still trade them though. Like I've seen
Okay.
because I've seen like game key cards and like CEX and stuff like that. So like, you can
Yeah,
actually
because
still trade
I
them.
just picked up Poketopia as
Hmm.
well. Talking about games, I can't believe I didn't mention that. Great game, like Animal Crossing's for Pokemon.
Hmm.
It's brilliant. But that was a game keycard, and that surprised me a bit because like it's not a huge gigabyte game. Like you could
Hmm.
probably fit that on a game
Yeah.
card. Um,
Hmm.
yeah,
I think it has to do with like how the game runs and stuff like that on having the full thing on the cartridge. I think there was I think when Star Wars Outlaws came out for the Switch 2 last November, I think one of the developers at Ubisoft was talking about how kind of important the game keycards were because for them, obviously how huge and expansive that game is. They were kind of like it's easier for us to have this game run on this
okay, yeah,
system
fair.
with a game
If that's
keycard.
the reason, I understand that. I get behind that.
Yeah,
That seems reasonable.
because also you got to remember this is not just again the Switch 2 is not like a PS5 or an Xbox where it's just a home console only. This is like and it's not and the same and vice versa. It's not like a Steam Deck, for example, where it's not like 100% console or 100% hybrid. It's 100% handheld. It's a hybrid between the two. So you've
Yeah,
got two different modes like TV mode and handheld mode. You've got to actually kind of work with and make sure your game runs consistently smooth at both those modes. So that's why a lot of I think that's why a lot of developers are leaning more towards the game key cards. I think that's why also a lot of games, Switch 2 versions of for some games will come out later compared to the flagship versions of PS5 and Xbox because obviously developers will need a little bit of extra time to work with those two modes and that different kind of architecture.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. No, I think if that's the reason, that makes sense to me. I didn't know that actually, so that's quite interesting.
Hmm. But no, it's just like it's so weird seeing like people being angry at Xbox and Sony, and seeing all this kind of again this goodwill coming to Nintendo when compared to like I said previously, it was the exact opposite. Nintendo was always the ones that were getting
Yeah,
kind of dunked on. They were getting kind of hated on for reasons like some valid, some you look back on you think not so valid. I would say.
yeah. I think it's interesting comparing like Microsoft and Sony here because Microsoft released like the Game Pass and they tried to go down this route of introducing like a platform similar to streaming services, right? But for games. I don't know if that was profitable for them. Like I struggle to see how
Hmm.
it can be if you're releasing like a 60, 70, $80 game just for a $10 or $20 subscription a month. But whether that worked or not is open to debate. I personally don't think
Mm,
it did. So that maybe drove some people away or pulled some people in for different
mm.
reasons. And then, like you said, Sony, sort of the disc thing is everywhere on social media at the moment. People making memes that, like, if you're buying a console with disc support, it's useless. And yeah, it's funny. And
Yeah,
yeah, Nintendo thankfully haven't done any of that yet. Whether they'll follow, I don't know. I mean, Nintendo did get some hate because they seem to be the reason for like the rising game prices recently. They were bringing out the first like £70 games, like 69.99
yeah,
and stuff like that.
mm,
Um, or even was it £80? Was it 79? I can't remember, but
yeah,
that definitely drove up the price across the industry as well. So I think that they've all had a bit of backlash. I mean, I'm looking at the Nintendo store now. Yeah, to buy Mario Kart World, it's £75. I don't know what that is in dollars. I think they'll probably do like $80 US,
mm,
but that's huge compared to only
mm,
if last year you'd get games for
yeah,
60 or £70, and before that it was 50, and before that it was about 30. Games are definitely on the price increase, and they're definitely becoming
yeah.
much more premium, and that's upset people.
Yeah, because obviously gaming used to be just a really great hobby for people, and now it's becoming so expensive. It's gone to the point now where
Yeah.
what's the point of it making it a hobby if you can't afford it? You know what I mean? It's the same thing with like retro gaming as well. You see all these like old gaming console prices, like the 3DS, for example. The prices for that
Yep.
for used 3DSs have gone up like massively.
I mean, I just recently bought a Game Boy Advance SP as well because I wanted to get back to a bit more like offline, relaxed, casual gaming.
Hmm.
It's been great. I'm using it on my commutes. It's nice that I can just save and shut it at any time. I don't have to worry about being online and things like that. But even buying one of them is quite expensive. They're about
Hmm.
70, £80. And I wanted Pokemon Leaf Green. That game was £80. Like,
Shit.
Nintendo definitely holds its position in the market, especially
Uh,
with some of these big
yeah,
titles. And yeah, if you don't have backwards compatibility for Leaf Green, I think Leaf Green's an
yeah.
exception because actually after I bought it, they released that Fire Red Leaf Green for Switch. Um, but before that, yeah, they didn't have backward
Hmm.
compatibility. So you want to buy the game, you've got to either buy a Game Boy Advance, or a DS, and therefore the price gets
Hmm.
driven up of these consoles because people want the ability
Yeah.
to play those games.
Yeah, exactly. Like I remember, I remember I was in CEX in York a couple of years ago, and I saw a copy of Twilight Princess for the GameCube for like I think it was like 90 quid, like or 98
Yeah.
quid, and I was just like, "Fuck!" like,
Yeah, it's a pro and a con, right? Because if
yeah,
you invest in a Nintendo game, I do see it as more of an investment. You can buy Mario Kart World on launch for
mm,
75 quid, and you can probably sell it like 10 years later,
yeah,
dare I say, for a similar price, if
yeah,
not more. Whereas some other titles, like if you buy the new Call of Duty, for example, or something, normally the price does seem to go down. You'll get Steam sales, you'll get developer sales, and
yeah,
after a while, those games go for less.
mm,
That's just like a trend that I've realized. So
yeah,
yeah, I think Nintendo feels like a bit more of a safe investment with games, but it's also annoying if you want to rebuy a childhood classic and you realize you're paying
mm,
double what it launched at or something to be able to play it.
yeah. I'll tell you what, dude. Bloody Argos, they're like the best ones for game prices. Like I'll buy like I saw Cyberpunk 77, the Switch 2 version on at Argos for like 40 something quid, and then I looked at game and it was like
Yeah,
60. So I was like, if you want
yeah.
games, you better off going fucking Argos because like it's
Yeah,
somehow better.
I also play a lot of like PC, like I said, and
Yeah.
Steam for
Mm,
me is the absolute leader in prices for that because they always have Steam sales, summer sale, winter sale.
mm,
You get huge discounts, like sometimes 90% off games.
mm.
Um, I think Steam's definitely leading the way there. I don't think Nintendo will ever do that. It doesn't match their model. They have these premium price games and people are willing to pay it. But Nintendo games still feel expensive to me even when they're on sale
Yeah.
because I'm used to Steam, and Steam can be so cheap. You
Mm.
know.
No, yeah, definitely. I can. Yeah, Steam is like the king. Sorry, they're getting all the wins. You know what I mean? I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know how successful the Steam machine has been. I haven't looked
Yeah.
up sales, but I know that in general, Steam is just winning the market basically. We're-
Yeah, Steam Machine I think will do well. Like the reviews have started coming out for it.
mm,
It's hard to get your hands on at the moment because they're limited release dropping them. I tried to get it on launch and I didn't get it. I was on like the wait list, so I've been waitlisted for that.
mm,
it's an expensive console, but people love it, and people actually say it's just a great PC as well.
Mm.
Like you can work from it, and then it's got a great interface. You can just switch to online mode. But we're going a bit off topic there. But yeah, I
Yeah,
think Steam probably lead the way. But yeah, Nintendo games, they have a premium. People are
yeah.
willing to pay them, but sometimes it hurts, especially when those games are like £75.
God, yeah. I mean, yeah, like I've only got really two Switch 2 games, that of course being Mario Kart World, and recently I brought Indiana Jones and the Great Circle for Switch.
Mm.
Great game as well. Like I'm halfway through it, and it's so far a really good experience. Um, but yeah, I think it is just the fact of how expensive they're being. But at the same time, I mean, I can't lie, my backlog of games for Switch is absolutely enormous. Like, yeah, I'm not to flex, but I got quite a lot of games,
You
and
got a lot of games.
yeah,
Yeah, you got a lot of
I waste my money on pointless shit. Uh, um,
games.
no, like yeah, but like I've got that's what's great about Switch 2 as well, because it's backwards compatible with Switch 1 games, which to be fair, Nintendo's always kind of championed the backwards compatibility of like handhelds and home consoles. You had the GameCube that was the Wii was backwards compatible with GameCube, Wii U was backwards compatible with Wii, and obviously the Game Boys. I mean, I think the GBA was actually backwards compatible with the original Game Boy, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
Yeah,
Game Boy Color and Game Boy. I used to play Pokemon Gold on my Game Boy Advance,
nice.
and then that's the great thing. Even Game Boy SP, for example, I can put
Mm,
Pokemon Gold runs. Backwards compatibility is huge on Nintendo. They do it well,
mm,
uh, and actually, quite often you get an upgrade to those games almost for free. Like
mm,
you're not having to pay for a HD remaster or something. But if you got a Game Boy game and you stuck it in like your Game Boy Color, or you stuck I don't know, a Game Boy Advance game in a Game Boy SP with better backlighting,
mm.
the game looked way better. And it was the same game, and it just felt like a free upgrade. It was great.
Yeah. No, definitely. It definitely looked a lot better. And with Switch One games, they definitely look a lot better on Switch Two as well.
Yeah,
But obviously, you can get upgrades to like Switch Two versions of certain Switch One games, but you got to pay an extra couple of pounds for those, and that really pisses me off because as someone who's subscribed to Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack, I was able to get Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, the Switch Two versions of those for free. Um, so the fact that like for the rest of them I have to pay for them, it's like nah, fuck that. Like I want to.
yeah.
What's that about? I don't want to pay an
If
extra.
they're adding new content to the game and launching it Switch 2, maybe. But it does feel a bit cheeky. Like if I've paid full price for this game on
Yeah,
Switch, I can still play it on Switch 2, but then they're like, oh, it won't run as good and it might be a bit choppy and it won't be HD unless you upgrade. And really?
yeah,
Can't you just let me play the game that I bought? Like,
yeah. Like it's the same thing with DLC as well. Like at least for the original Switch, I think at some point they just threw in free the DLC with the Nintendo Switch Online plus the expansion pack subscriptions. They were kind of like, hey, if you want to pay extra for DLC, you can always subscribe to Nintendo Switch Online plus the expansion pack, and you get access to like N64, GBA, NES, SNES, whatever, like those kind of games. But now it's kind of like, nah, man, you got cough up, regardless of your subscription you gotta pay. Come on, cough it up. It's like
yeah,
fuck you. I don't want to pay. I don't pay extra. I already paid like 60 quid
yeah.
for a game. I'm not paying another 15. It's
It
ridiculous.
does feel annoying. I think I
What
don't
is
know how
this?
the wider community feels about it, but
Yeah,
I was definitely a bit upset when I realized that. Even like Animal Crossings, I re-downloaded. I have the digital version from when I had the Switch,
yeah,
and it was like, yeah, you can play it. The game still runs, but there's also this upgrade for like I think £5. It's not a lot of money, but should I really have to pay to
yeah,
upgrade it at all?
yeah, man. Like the old man yelling at clouds. You know what I mean? Like, oh, how dare they? Wasn't like this back in my day. Back in my,
Exactly.
back in my day, you fucking put the game in the console and just played. Like I hurt my throat doing that. Actually, I'm not gonna do that again.
That was
Never.
impressive.
Yeah, never again. Never again. But speaking of games, so obviously Ocarina of Time remakes coming. Like but and other games are coming along as well. Like what games? Obviously Ocarina of Time remake. What games are we looking forward to?
Yeah, Ocarina of Time is the big one for me.
Yeah.
I was considering waiting to see if they released like a limited edition Switch 2 for that
Hmm.
because I think there's a chance they will.
It was.
It's definitely been rumored.
I mean, yeah. I think
Uh,
it might have been leaked actually a couple of weeks ago.
okay, yeah. That's the main title that I'm looking forward to. The Pokemon games are coming out.
Hmm.
Those are going to be huge. Main title Pokemon, love that. And then also like third party, like we were saying, First Light. It's coming a little bit late to the
Hmm.
Switch 2. I've already played and completed it on the PC. I loved the game,
Yeah.
but actually being able to play that handheld, like being able to play First Light on the train or something,
Mm.
that's going to be awesome. So
Yeah.
yeah, I might even buy a second copy of that game,
Mm.
um, just to be able to play it on the go.
No, yeah. I mean, like the games are looking really great. I mean, obviously you got Kingdom Hearts 4 that's coming out for Switch 2 soon, and you've also got the first three games. I think they're getting like a physical release because I think beforehand you had to do like cloud gaming for them for the first Switch or something like that. And obviously, yeah, you got a First Light coming as well. I think like that will probably have to be the norm, though. I think the Switch 2 versions of some games will probably have to come later just due to like power limit, like hardware limitations and
Yeah,
that extra like the extra crunch time. But the Ocarina of Time remake, man, I can't lie, like that looks fucking epic.
dude. Ocarina of Time was my first Zelda game on the 3DS.
Oh, the
Um,
remake, yeah, 3DS remake.
yeah, I loved it. I
Hmm.
played so much that game. I
Yeah,
think it was like really my first open world game as well. Like I played other open worlds before, but I'd
hmm.
never really owned one.
Yeah,
And this just it felt amazing. Like it's a beautiful world
hmm.
to explore. It's an incredible story.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, very very excited for that game.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I'm excited. I can't wait to see how they're going to handle it this time. Because obviously, I think the 3DS one was kind of just the N64 version, but kind of the graphics were more smoothed out. The controls were tweaked, and certain things like the water temple was tweaked to be actually enjoyable, unlike in the N64 version where it was an absolute fucking nightmare. Um, but yeah, I think I never played the 3DS one, so but I've seen like video footage of it online. It looks cool, but I can't wait to see what this one does. Obviously, we know voice acting is going to be a thing in it because obviously in the reveal trailer it was being voice acted. Well, at least there was a narrator, so I'm assuming it's going to get fully voice acted. I hope that like, they add some new material though, like maybe like I was watching Nintendo Live's kind of 10 things they wanted to see from the Zelda remake, and I think Xeon said something like he wants to see more kind of backstory with Link and his mother. Because obviously you don't actually you get told what happened with her. Like she kind of like died, and he was given to the Great Wisdom Tree, and he was kind of adopted into um, the Kokori tribe and everything like that. But yeah, like I just want to see what new stuff they bring, like stuff like that. Just expand the lore, expand the world. Don't have it be just like a one-to-one like remake. Actually like go out and like include some like brand new things we've never really seen before, and take advantage of the new hardware as well. You know what I mean? Like I think doing like a basic one-to-one remake for the 3DS made sense because the 3DS is just a straight up handheld. I don't think you can. There's not really that much wiggle room for you to do some proper experimentation. But at the same time, with the Switch 2, like it's a completely different ball game now. Like we need something. We need something new. We need something to justify the purchase. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
you got to justify that fucking 60, 70 pound price tag. Like, come on,
yeah.
just sell it to me. Tell me why I should buy this game again, apart from childhood nostalgia, which is probably the reason why I'll buy it again. But still,
Yeah, I'm gonna buy it anyway.
mm,
But I think it's one of those games that I'm
yeah,
willing to like pre-order before any reviews come out, just because I'll enjoy it,
yeah,
and I know they'll do it justice.
oh yeah.
So
Like I feel like even Nintendo's gonna be like, we can't fuck this up. This is like one of our best games ever made. Like we can't like fuck this up. But yeah, I don't know if you noticed, but during the 3DS's second life cycle, the second year of the 3DS's life cycle, they remade Ocarina of Time and Star Fox, and now they're doing it again with the Switch 2's life
yeah,
cycle,
yeah,
which is crazy. It's a coincidence, but it's hilarious. You know what I mean?
yeah. And I think we were talking earlier about how the remakes feel kind of sad sometimes if they're just HD and never upgrading them. But I feel these games feel like almost new games in a way, right? It's the same
Yeah,
story, but they completely rework the graphics, they completely rework the game, right? Like it's a new game with a known story.
yeah.
So yeah, feels better.
But yeah, and I think but I really wish, like, I really hope they do make a new Star Fox game because I'm getting sick and tired of all the Star Fox 64 remakes. Like, I would love if them just go all out like they did with Star Fox Adventures for the GameCube and just do like a big, huge like RPG like game with it. Like, maybe even like in the same vein as like I don't know the Star Wars Jedi like games, but with decent voice acting because Star Fox Adventures did not have decent voice acting at all. Like the voice acting in that game was horrendous.
Yeah, I didn't play it, but
Yeah.
uh, yeah, I think Nintendo normally do a good job.
Hmm.
One of the things that annoyed me a bit, controversial maybe, talking about like Ocarina of Time,
Yeah.
Navi. Is it called Navi?
Yeah, Navi, yeah.
Yeah, that voice was Link, listen, listen, Link, Link, listen, bro. That
Hey,
annoyed me after a while.
hey, listen. There's nothing wrong with Navi, all right? I don't know if you got the reference, but yeah. I don't know, man. I feel like, well, the thing is, like, this one's being fully voice acted, so perhaps they can probably tune it down to like to be less annoying.
Yeah,
I know Miyamura wasn't a fan of Navi either. I think a couple years ago he was like, yeah, I really, really wanted to delete her from the game, but the other developers were like, no, we need her. Like, she's important.
yeah. It had an important place, a bit in the story, and a bit mainly just for helping players, right?
Hmm.
Like, oh, you're going the wrong way. Link, listen. Like, or there's a new quest. Link, listen. Like, I get that. But also in an open world, sometimes you want to go the wrong way. You want to just explore. And if you've got this little sprite screaming down your ear, it
Yeah.
becomes a bit annoying.
No, yeah. But no, I think I think they'll hopefully give Navi some more narrative like purpose. Well, I mean, they sure already had narrative purpose, but expand on it a bit more. Now we're working with a new engine, a new cutscenes, new graphics, a new look, and fully voice acting as well. Hopefully, build more on their friendship. And
Yeah,
like have you grow a good attachment to these two characters. Um,
yeah.
as friends. I don't know if Link will speak in Ocarina of Time because obviously he didn't speak in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. They kept him quite silent. It would be a little bit weird if Link just randomly started talking back to people. I
Yeah.
mean, it's possible. I mean, obviously we don't know if he's going to talk in the live action Zelda film they're making. He could do, but we don't
I
know.
think he'll probably talk in the film. I'm thinking of like Detective Pikachu, right? When I
Yeah,
heard that we were going to have a talking Pikachu, I was so against it. Actually, Detective Pikachu kind of did it well.
yeah,
Like you compare Detective Pikachu to the Pokemon movie, was it 2000 when
yeah.
Pikachu just has that one line at the end and everyone's like, "What is going on?" like,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah, that one where he's like, "It's because I want to be with you," and everyone's like, "What the
yeah,
fuck? Did he
yeah.
spoke?"
So like if they give a good voice actor to Navi and to Link and they do it well, I think it'll be fine. I don't want to hate on it before I see it because I was
Mm,
really against Pikachu talking in Detective Pikachu. I watched the movie, I loved it. Like obviously Ryan Reynolds, amazing actor,
mm.
did it really
Yeah. Hopefully, yeah. I think if he, I mean, obviously we don't know if he's going to talk. I think he's not going to speak in the film. Funnily enough, I think they're going to keep him a silent protagonist in the film. Mainly
well.
because I just
Yeah.
feel like you look at the promotional photos they've released so far of Ben. I think the actor who plays him, I can't remember his last name, but I know he's called Ben. And the looks and looks that he's like pulling in those like promotional photos that kind of looks like somebody who just doesn't talk. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's something
Mm,
about it that gives
yeah.
off this is going to be a silent performance.
If
Um,
they don't make him talk though, that would be hard for a whole movie, right?
I mean, we've had films of like silent protagonists before, and I think like it could be something really interesting to like set yourself apart from the rest of the Western fantasy genre. Like I'm pretty sure maybe in like Japan or Korea there was a film with a fantasy movie with a silent protagonist.
Mm,
I don't know if you get that anywhere else in Western culture, um, but no, like I think it should be all right if he does, regardless if he speaks or he doesn't speak, again, it should hopefully make sense within the context of the film. That's the thing. We just got to
yeah.
see. Just got to see that first trailer, which
You
will,
gotta wait. You gotta see
yeah,
exactly.
which will hopefully come out maybe October this year. I'm going to take a guess. Yeah, I think it probably will be October this year because obviously it's Zelda's 40th anniversary and they want to like celebrate it somehow. I hope Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD come to Switch 2. Maybe as a double pack. Been waiting ages for those games. Please just release them. Please. Hello.
Hey, hey.
All right. No, yeah, just release those games now. I want to see them. I think the big question that everyone's been asking recently though is, will GTA 6 come to Switch 2? Like, will like,
Yeah,
what are you thinking? What are you
I
thinking?
don't think it will
Oh,
because we're
really?
talking about the Switch having the graphics capability now and the RAM and stuff. It has more RAM, 12 gig, right? And it has its own baked in NVIDIA graphics card. But GTA 6 is going to struggle to run on some gaming
Mm,
PCs, right? Like where people have good graphics cards, like better graphics cards, more RAM, like
mm,
uh, SSDs, all this sort of stuff. I just don't know if they could do GTA 6 justice on the Switch.
mm,
They'd have to really downscale it. I think it would be hard to port on.
mm,
I might be wrong here. I think there are a lot of people who would buy that game on the Switch, but I also think the main marketplace for that game is going to be like your PS5 Pro, PC,
Mm.
and your like Xbox Series X, right?
Yeah.
Because I think that game is going to demand a lot of power. Even GTA 5 now, like I don't even know if you could run GTA 5 on the Switch
Mm.
because it demands a lot. So I'd love to see it. Don't get me wrong. I think it would be awesome, but I just don't think they're going to be able to. Or if they do, I don't think it's going to be anywhere near as good as on those like PS5 Pro and like spec'd out PCs.
Mm. No, I can see what you mean. Personally, I think there's a chance it could come Switch 2, but I think we're looking at least 6 months to a year after the flagship version. You're
Yeah,
definitely gonna need like a lot more extra time to get a Switch 2 port of that game up and running. I think it'll definitely be. I think we're looking at another game keycard situation as well. I think Rockstar's gonna like lean more towards that.
yeah, for sure.
Um,
The game will be like over 100 gig probably, right?
yeah,
Like, you, I don't think you could put that on a game card.
no,
Maybe they even just go download only
they
for
could
that.
do.
It might be controversial, but I don't think even
Mm,
maybe a key card, yeah. But
yeah,
I don't think it will come at all, to be honest. I hate to be the downer
no,
because we still don't even have GTA 5.
yeah.
Right? We've got like San Andreas and Vice City, but
Yeah,
yeah,
but no, I don't know. I think I've got a feel. I mean, I don't want to disbelieve it because I do think Rockstar will. I think because like I said, Rockstar kind. I think the reason why Rockstar haven't released a GTA game on a Nintendo home console before is just because they've never really seen the benefit of like why of releasing one on a Nintendo home console. Like obviously, because everyone has there's this weird like assumption that Rockstar and Nintendo like hate each other, and that's just not really true. Like Rockstar and Nintendo actually have a decent relationship with each other. I just think Rockstar have never. The reason why it's never happened is I think Rockstar just never saw like how it would benefit them. Like imagine GTA like 3 or Vice City or they're coming on GameCube. Like that would
yeah,
like the GameCube sold terribly. You'd have to put it on like a mini DVD disc in order for it to run and stuff. And you know for them it's kind of like why we put through ourselves through that when we can just release it on our competition. That's easier. Same thing with GTA 4 as well. You know, came out for the Xbox 360 and the PS3 and GTA 5. You know, they could have maybe done a watered down port for like the Wii, but
yeah.
same thing with the first Red Dead. But it's kind of like why would we bother doing that? Like
But then, like
that's
looking at it
pointless.
as well, like we don't have Red Dead 2, right? We don't have Red Dead Redemption 2. We don't have GTA 5.
I mean, I know that.
I think you make a good point with the game keycards. I think that could incentivize them because it's
Yeah.
an easy way to like put it on a shelf in a game shop as well,
Hmm,
or like where you're going to pick up a physical copy technically and then it's a download. But I don't know. I'm
hmm.
skeptical.
I mean, but like I said, I think no, but like I said, I think but I mean they released the first Red Dead on Switch One, and I've heard there's
Yeah,
rumors that they're going to do number two on Switch Two at some point.
yeah,
Apparently.
okay,
But like I said beforehand, like again, they never really saw the benefit of it. I mean, yes, they had Bully on the Wii, but to be fair, Bully was kind of a new concept for them, where you know it's GTA but it's set in a school. So I think for
great
them,
game though.
oh yeah,
Great game.
but I think like Bully came out for the PS2, so like I think for them they were I think for that logic of thinking they were like, well, we don't know if this is going to work. Let's just release it on every platform we can get it on. But for like their big hitters that they know are going to do really well on Xbox and PlayStation, I think they'll just keep it to like Xbox and PlayStation. But I
Yeah, and
think
I think
for
for Rockstar, they want to make their games like as close to the intended graphics as possible, right? Like you can release Bully and the original Red Dead and like Vice City and play it with full graphics on
hmm,
these consoles. But if you released GTA 5 or GTA 6 on the
yeah,
Switch 2, you would have to really scale it down, I feel.
yeah. But I think they would. I think they would take it just because, again, I think the Switch Two of how well it's selling and how well it's going. I think they would now see the benefit of it. I think that's why they decided to just randomly out of nowhere decide, hey, Red Dead Redemption One, it's on the first Switch, and we're doing a Switch Two. I think they did a Switch Two version as well. Because I think even they were like, let's do it because we can see the benefit of this now. We can see the benefit of like doing a version that you can just take on the go with you anywhere you want to go.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, Obviously, you know, you've got Steam Deck for that as well, and you've got the handheld Xbox. What's it? RG Ally, I think that's what it's called. The handheld
yeah. I've
Xbox.
never played, seen, done anything with that. I don't know how well that's sold, but
I mean, it's really expensive, so I don't know if it's sold a ton, but still. Um, but no, yeah. But yeah, I think I don't know. GTA 6, we'll have to see. Obviously earlier, like, and I promised you this, so we'll segue into this now because obviously earlier we are talking about First Light. But speaking of which, actually, when do you think First Light will come out for Switch 2 though? Like, what's your hope for it? Because obviously it was supposed to come out with the flagship version back in May. That didn't happen.
Yeah.
It got delayed, and they've said like late in the summer. We're in fucking August now. Like, yeah, when is this? Is this another like Super Paper Mario situation where it comes out in September, or what are
Yeah,
you thinking?
I feel at this point as well. And if they were gonna release it this year, surely they would have put a release date on it now. I really hope it comes this year for their sake as well. Like if they can get it out before Christmas, that will obviously be great for them.
Hmm.
But they still haven't given us a release date. And I
No, they
think
haven't.
it's because they're probably having struggles like being able to play it on the Switch too, right? It's a demanding game. I remember when they demoed First Light on the PS5 Pro, it
Hmm.
still had lag spikes. That was crazy, right? It's a
Yeah.
PS5 Pro, and you could still see frame rate drops and things like that. And when I've played it on PC, I've
Hmm.
played it on low settings, as low as it can go, and
Yeah.
I've still had like frame rate drops and things like that. I've got a decent PC, right? But it's definitely a demanding game. It's an amazing game. I hope it comes out soon. I really, really hope it comes out before Christmas. But I think actually we might be looking at a 2027 launch date now.
Ooh. Could possibly. I mean, It wouldn't it wouldn't surprise me considering again the Switch 2, for as powerful as it is, we're looking at our console handheld hybrid to the point
Yeah.
where obviously you're working with two different modes. You've got to make sure your games run at. Again, this isn't like like a standalone console or a standalone handheld. This is like a two-in-one situation. So I could definitely see it coming out sometime in 2027, maybe even spring of 2027, like maybe on March 2027 release date, which would be sad because obviously it was announced during the Switch 2 Direct back in April 2025. It was like this big, huge like thing. They were like, "Oh, 007's coming to Switch 2. It's being developed by the Hitman guys." I think people thought at first it was like a Switch 2 exclusive, and then it turned out it was coming out for Xbox and PS5,
Mm.
which would have been hilarious if it was a Switch 2 exclusive.
If it was a Switch 2 exclusive, the Switch
exclusive,
2 would have just sold like an extra 100 mil copies, I
yeah.
swear.
But yeah, I could definitely like that new John Wick game, for example, that got announced. Obviously, they didn't announce a Switch 2 version, but I can definitely see a Switch 2 version of that game like coming out at some point after the flagship
Yeah,
version.
yeah,
Because obviously, I think developers of that will be like, well, it will benefit better, will benefit even more by having it on the Switch 2, like having it on a system that people can like take it on the go. Like, say if you play it on PS5 and you're like, oh, this is great, and then it comes out on Switch 2, and you've got a Switch 2, you can be like, hey, I can play this game again, but this time I can play it anywhere I want. I mean, it's a great game. Why
yeah,
not play it again? It's the whole point of
yeah,
games, isn't it? You play it over and over and over until you get sick and tired of it.
yeah,
um, but no, speaking of Bond, I did promise you this, so we'll go into it. We'll segue into the new Bond film being developed by Amazon because they brought MGM, um, brought out
yeah.
brought out the Broccoli's. The Broccoli family are not part of it anymore. They're gone. That era's over. What are your thoughts on New Bond? Are you happy? Are you excited for it? Are you happy about it? Like, what are your thoughts on it?
So mixed. As you know, I've been a lifelong Bond fan. I've
Hmm.
seen all the movies so many times, read all the books, met a lot of the cast. I have so many autographs, props, memorabilia, been to events. I love Bond, right? And I hope, therefore, that Amazon do it justice. I hope the casting for the new Bond goes well if it's not already completed. Obviously, we don't know who the new Bond's going to be. Obviously, First Light came out. That was an amazing game. That's
Hmm.
built a lot of hype back into Bond and hopefully introduced a lot of the younger generation to Bond as well. But I am worried about Amazon having the control rights to it a little. I think Amazon released that Bond like game sort of style series. I can't remember
Yeah,
what it was
it
called.
was a game show with Charlie Cox.
I think it was fine. I'm a Bond fan. I watched it. It's actually a decent game show, right? But it was a bit weird to me that James Bond's been put into a game show. I think it didn't make too much sense. Um, Rings of Power, Amazon. I'm a massive Lord of the Rings fan as well. Obviously, we did a movie marathon recently. Love Lord of the Rings, the books, the world.
Hmm.
I think Rings of Power was great actually because I'm a Lord of the Rings fan. Lots of fans disagree with that. I think it was great, but I think it failed to pull new people into Lord of the Rings, and I think it wasn't as true to Tolkien and to the books as maybe I'd hoped. So I hope whatever Amazon do with Bond will be brilliant. Amazon
Hmm.
obviously have huge budgets. they could do an insane Bond movie, and I pray they do. But I'm slightly worried. Like I just hope
Yeah.
I hope I can watch this movie and it feels Bond, and I want it. I want it to feel like a good Bond too. I want a sort of Casino Royale or a Skyfall or a No Time to Die. If it sort of comes
Yeah.
out and it's a bit like a Quantum of Solace, I'm
Hmm.
gonna be a bit upset.
No, yeah, I can see what you mean. I mean, I hope it's good. I mean, it's the same director as the Dune trilogy.
Yeah, which are great.
Um, yeah, which is good. Um, so I'm not really worried about it too much. In terms of who the new Bond is, I mean, as long as it's a decent enough actor, I hope it's just not. I hope it's not like a younger, like 20-year-old though. I think hopefully they cast like another 30-year-old, kind of early 30s kind of guy to like play the role.
Yeah, I was really
Um,
hoping Richard Madden was going to be the new Bond. Obviously, he's Scottish as
hmm,
well. It would take it back to his Scottish roots. And I saw him in The
yeah,
Bodyguard and in like
yeah,
Citadel, and he
yeah,
was amazing. I think now
mm,
though, maybe I'm wrong, but maybe he's just like he's 40 now, so he's possibly a little too old if they want another Bond to stay like 10, 12 years.
yeah,
I do think he'd be a fantastic Bond. If he got announced, I would be so
yeah,
excited. Um,
yeah,
but we see. I really have no idea who the new Bond is going to be. There are so many people in the running. There are literally like bet
yeah.
shops and bookies taking bets on it. There's about 50
Mm.
names out there of people who could get it. I've no idea.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you got Henry Cavill, who has been rumored for years
Yeah,
at this point.
yeah.
Like
He was the
even
runner-up to
before,
Craig, right?
yeah,
He'd auditioned and he'd done very well, and then Craig got the role. So, and again, I think Henry Cavill could have been a great Bond, but I think now maybe it's a bit late. I don't know. I mean, he's still doing fantastic performances. I saw him in The Witcher actually, and I loved it. But
yeah,
yeah, we see.
yeah. You're gonna love this, but he's doing the Warhammer
Yeah,
series on Amazon as
he's a
well.
lifelong Warhammer fan. Cavill,
Yeah,
yeah, he's cool.
yeah. That'll be cool. Do you think they'll incorporate some elements of First Light? Like, do you think First Light kind of could have been a good inspiration for the next
Yeah,
Bond film?
it's an interesting one because First Light did its own story in a way, but obviously heavily influenced by the books. It was like Bond becoming Bond and training up and becoming the agent that he is, um, and it sort of created its own story there. I
Hmm,
think they could do that. They could sort of continue off that premise. It would be cool.
hmm.
But in a way, I'd just love to see this first Bond film almost as a remake, like Casino Royale was, of one of the original Fleming books. I think if they did
Yeah.
another Casino Royale, even, which would be the third, actually, because they did do one Casino Royale before Craig's, um,
Hmm.
it could be awesome. And I
Yeah.
think if they did even like a Doctor No, how cool would that be? Like going back to
Yeah.
the very first movie, you know? I think there's a lot
Hmm.
of cool things they could do with this. If they make a completely new story, it could work. If they go back to one of Fleming's books, it could work. There's
Yeah.
so many factors here. It really depends on the casting, the story, the budget, and we just know so little about it right now. I'm
Hmm.
hopeful. I love Bond. Like I said, I hope they do it well, but I am slightly worried.
I mean, yeah. I mean, obviously, it's understandable to be worried, but at the same time, I don't know. I think it'll be fine. I think he'll be. I think it's going to be all right. The Bond's going to be all right.
Yeah, yeah.
The,
And
the
I'll
James
watch it
Bond's going
either
to be
way,
fine.
and I'll go to
Yeah.
the first day premiere and everything, and
Yeah.
I'll buy a
Suit up,
stupid
like,
amount of merch. Yeah, we'll go in suits. We'll have a good time.
yeah,
But
yeah. I mean, I don't know if I'll actually wear a suit because, like, my God, was I uncomfortable in that suit. We went to go see
with
bloody
bow
Times Up.
ties and
It was
everything. Yeah.
to my neck because of the whole neck collar on the fucking shirt. I mean, Jesus Christ, man. Like, no, I don't know if I can do that again, actually. But we'll see. We'll see. Um, but yeah, I guess just to wrap it up, Switch OLED. What do you think? Will there be a Switch OLED model? Or,
Yeah, interesting one. I hope so. I think they could well do it. I think it'll be a
hmm,
few years before they do it, like with the original Switch.
yeah,
It'd be a nice upgrade, and that could be cool. I think they probably will make some sort of Switch 2 spin-off because they normally tend to do like 3DS, 3DS XL, Switch,
yeah,
Switch
yeah,
Lite, that sort of thing.
yeah,
Um, in a way, I hope they don't. I hope they just come out with something completely new and different and exciting. But if they did make a Switch OLED, it would sell well. People would upgrade. I did mention earlier
yeah,
the OLED screen I miss. It felt amazing. It was just that much brighter. And actually,
hmm,
95% of my time on the Switch is spent in handheld. I very rarely dock it. So
hmm.
for me, especially, it is a big upgrade.
Yeah, I mean, I think there'll be a Switch OLED probably maybe like 3 years down the line. There'll
Yeah,
be a Switch OLED.
yeah.
I think. Will there be a Switch 3 though? Do you think they'll do one beyond the two,
Again, I
or
hope not. I hope that after the Switch, we're probably talking like what 8 years down the line, maybe even more,
yeah,
because the Switch 2 is really new, right? This console
mm,
will stay out. They'll probably release an OLED. They might even release like a Lite or something like that. And then I just
yeah,
hope they go into a new console. I'd love to. I have
mm,
no idea what that would look like. We're looking so far into the future, but I'd love to see a next gen after.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it'll be a complete. If you asked me last year, I would have said yes. But now, looking at the Switch 2 and stuff, I actually think they'll probably do something completely new.
yeah,
And I do think Nintendo kind of earned the right to coast along the Switch idea. But I think come the Switch 2's end, it will probably there won't be a Switch 3, and they'll just be like a brand new console. They'll think of something different, something new, something gimmicky. I don't know.
yeah.
Maybe you
Something
gotta put the thing on.
Nintendo. They've always taken
Yeah,
risks, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, right? But the
yeah,
DS paved the way for like touch screens in
mm,
general, even in phones and stuff, but especially touchscreen gaming. 3DS was huge. It was a bit controversial, but if you just turn 3D off, even if you didn't like it, amazing console. The Wii was
yeah,
groundbreaking, and they're all so different, right? Every one of
mm,
these consoles is so different, and I just hope Nintendo surprise us again and excite us and bring out something that's like truly
yeah.
unique.
No, yeah, definitely. I hope so. I really, really do. I think, yeah, after the Switch 2, there should be probably something new. And that is it, everyone. That is it for today's episode. It was nice to do this with you again, Christian. It was nice to have a laugh.
Bro, an absolute
Whilst,
pleasure. Yeah, thanks so
yeah,
much for having me back. But lots
yeah,
of lots of pros, lots of cons, lots of
yeah,
excitement, lots of hesitation
mm,
and nervousness. But I think the future of Nintendo is exciting, and it's been
yeah,
lovely to be back.
yeah. And we'll get you back here soon, maybe for like a Lord of the Rings
Oh,
thing again.
happily.
That'd be cool. I mean, Hunt for Golem comes out next year.
Yeah.
Why? I have no idea. Because I'm not looking forward to that
Well,
film
this is
like
another.
at all.
I'll touch on this now if we do a Lord of the Rings one, just to build some
Yeah.
hype. Hunt for Gollum, right? I love Lord of the Rings. I love the universe. Andy Serkis is going to do an amazing Gollum, right? There's no doubt
Mm,
about it. But Andy Serkis
yeah.
is a director. I don't know.
Mm.
He made like
His
Venom
track.
2, which wasn't so good.
I mean, his track record hasn't exactly been fantastic with
Yeah,
Venom 2 and that new Animal Farm that came out recently,
yeah,
where it just completely missed the point of the original book.
yeah. But because they've
Um,
announced the cast already, they've got like Anna Taylor Joy, Jamie Dornan, obviously Andy Serkis. They've got a lot of the original Lord of the Rings cast, Elijah Wood, etc. Like
yeah.
it's gonna be great. I think Andy Serkis will play an amazing Gollum, obviously. And if the
Yeah.
film is centered around him, I'd like to think it
Mm,
can't go too far wrong. But
yeah.
we see.
Yeah. But no, definitely. But no, it was really nice to have you on here again. And it's really nice to be doing this podcast again. It's been a lovely experience coming back. But yeah, everyone, that is it for today's episode. I really hope you enjoyed it, and like I said, I really hope that it helped to brighten your day if you are feeling isolated, lonely out there. And yeah, everyone, and I guess I'll see you whenever. Well, we'll see you whenever we see you next.